They call this Hollywood Bowl. Engineers had built 17 arch bridges when they got to this point and said, no more. Let's try laying one on its side.
The marvel has upheld Hell's Gate Highway for 60 years, but few passers-by know it exists.
What happens when you lay an engine on its side? Will it last 60 years? Will you remember that it exists? Our story begins with BMW in a tight spot. After building nothing but air-cooled boxer twins for half a century, they look up from a well-worn groove and see Japan. The big four horsemen are riding in on liquid-cooled four-cylinders, more sophisticated, more powerful, and disastrously more reliable. How now can BMW sell themselves as the premium option with an upmark price tag on an archaic airhead? It looks bad. But to build a Transverse 4 would be to merely catch the Japanese. That does nicht look good. And to build a Boxer 4 would be to copy the Goldwing. That looks even worse. So BMW is railroaded into some lateral thinking.
They blitz the engine from a Peugeot 104 and lay it on its side. That's right, the pistons punch straight across this motorbike.
Immediately, BMW wins new ground. With the crankshaft hanging out the right, it's a dead shot to the rear wheel. Dead simple, dead reliable powertrain, like a car. And then on the left is our brick-shaped cylinder head. It's a shoebox diorama of whatever top-end job you want to do. Of course, any carburation would have to fuel downward, and 90-degree intake tubes don't flow very well, so the Flying Brick is one of the earliest motorcycles with fuel injection. BMW just reused the Bosch Jetronic module from their 3 Series car, a massive fuel pump that creates what came to be known as the K-whine. It is, hear this, louder than the exhaust. Jawohl! Now what you hear is an over-delivery system. It pumps enough fuel for wide open throttle all the time and then returns the excess to the tank. It's common on cars, but on motorcycles, it means that this small fuel volume is constantly circulated, which means that it's constantly heated, and eventually the tank will boil your thighs, if not for this heat shield. Now here's another funny one. BMW gave us a valet handle for the center stand, but made the kickstand as shitty as possible. Reason being, they openly discourage its use because with the sideways engine on the side stand, those cylinders are below horizontal, meaning overnight oil seeps into the combustion chamber and close your eyes now, Greta. Another curiosity of sideways engines is their longest front to back. These back-swept bars feel like reining a horse in front of my carriage. It's very gentlemanly. And of course, the only way BMW can stack 3 cylinders lengthwise is to make them tall and skinny like a 3-pack of Pringles. So these pistons punch with the reps of a flyweight and the wind-up of a heavyweight. And it feels like a turbo diesel car, like no other motorcycle I've ridden. That
feel for bikes can only be had by riding many unusual motorcycles, so check out Riders Share. It's the Airbnb of bikes, allowing us to rent a huge variety of machines right from the owners. At home, it might be the test ride that the dealership won't allow, or just a cheap transportation option from the dude 2 streets over. But on vacation, if you've flown in, Riders Share connects the dots to a bike, insurance, a helmet, a jacket, all for less money than a brick and mortar. Click the link below and you too can experience everything that makes the Flying Brick special, but that is what makes it famous.
Hell's Gate, where the Great Wide Fraser narrows to 35 meters, rushing the waters over 8 meters per second.
The same thing happens in our narrow cylinders. The pistons must travel more distance more quickly. In its day, the Brick had the highest piston speed of any production engine ever made for motorcycle or car. Well, sounds risky, but the speed never killed an engine. Heat and stress does. Our long stroke is a longer lever on the crankshaft. High mechanical advantage, low stress. And our narrow bore gives heat a shorter path to escape, and by sweeping a longer shoreline, that heat has more places to go. An engineer would say the Brick is unusually thermally and mechanically efficient, but riders say they routinely live for 1 million kilometers. That is why the Flying Brick is famous.
I'm reminded of the field engines littering the mine shafts of Hell's Gate. A few of these long stroke pumps are still in service getting on 100 years later. I should be able to stand on the giant shoulders of this sideways engine and survey a lush lineage of ultra-reliable motorcycles. Only when I do, there's nothing left.
BMW scorched the earth of flying bricks. To the Bavarian barbarians, it was never a boxer twin, so it was never interesting. They're worse than hogs like that. And to racers, the 999,000 kilometers after a finish line are irrelevant, so BMW bit the Japanese bullet and put a live fast over square transverse 4 in the S1000s. Then tourers ride spec sheets, and if the Goldwing has 6 dicks, the K1600 needs 6 too, 6 being too many to fit sideways. Though I suspect there's a darker reason that the longest lifespan engine has no descendants. And what do we always do to the good things that don't make money?